let's talk about Nosferatu. So I went to see the movie yesterday, and I was excited for this film. I liked most of the Robert Eggers films. I liked The Witch, The Lighthouse. The Northman was a mixed bag for me, but I thought all of them were really good films. And I love Nosferatu. Like for me, Werner Herzog's Nosferatu is one of my favorite films. So I was pumped. The trailer looked nice, and I was all for it. And I, I really did not enjoy the film at all. I thought it was really bad, and I was really surprised how they Robert Eggers. I don't know why I always say Dave Eggers, but why Robert Eggers, fell so much in quality for this movie. So let's talk about it. The short way I could describe it is like he made like a Werner Herzog's Nosferatu but for dummies, and most of the interesting ideas and conceits the film had weren't really exploited, and at the end it just seems like a more explicit, more obvious, vulgar, explained version of what Werner Herzog already made. And having said that, I did like a lot of shots. For example, the crossroad scene when Hutter is going to the castle. I thought that was beautiful, but then it gets kind of ruined by this ridiculous dramatism, like having the horses go all crazy in front of him, and what's the point? It was already like a gorgeous shot. You don't have to ruin it with some random dramatic effect that serves no purpose there. And then it kind of goes back, quiet down, and you have this shot again, but with this interesting play of frames between this kind of the hearse and the forest. That was a beautiful scene, and I liked a couple of other ones that I thought were effective, when Harding is hugging both of his daughters. I thought that was a good shot too, but it was fairly fairly poor overall in my opinion. The whole let's make it everything just dark and greedy and gray, and everything is dark and greedy and gray. A lot of the things that he added that I think he thought would make it a better film, almost none of it worked for me. I think the only thing that I found interesting was he added this more spiritual aspect to it. I think it does work like that, kind of like a demonic possession thing that's going on. But I don't think he, as I said, a lot of the good ideas the movie had weren't really exploited that well. And at the end, it just seems with that whole angle, it just turns into this weird, gothic Scott Pilgrim versus the world, where you have to defeat the evil demon that is your wife's ex, lover or whatever. It just feels really strange. Doesn't end up working as well. Just cocking your husband to save the world. Just really, I didn't like it, how it all wrapped up in the end. A lot of the things that Dave Eggers has done, and he's now kind of famous for, this kind of really well-studied timepieces, trying to make it more realistic. But here, it didn't help at all. It just made it worse, and it somehow made it feel even more artificial. I didn't see the point in adding all this occultism. What's the point of adding all these real occult things? I don't think it made the film anything more concise, and that's part of the problem. I think this film was really over intellectualized, and that made it feel really incoherent in terms of how it was, in terms of narration and storytelling. It just didn't feel like organic. It felt just like a set of intellectual checklists to convey ideas, and that's why I didn't like the editing, but probably goes further than the editing. It might be just like the overall way he decided to narrate the story, and with all these kind of like intellectual ideas where everything is just even like explained, and it feels like very just vulgar, and made made the films just not interesting at all for me. Having to explain everything too much. Yeah, too much explaining, too much like over dramatic effects. If he could have achieved a more subtle, a more aesthetically cohesive way to, more confident way to approach his ideas, that like a lot of the themes could have been carried much further, you know, like, because it did have some interesting things about it, but yeah, it just never really became alive, and that's one of the interesting things, like that. I think I also kind of went through this kind of like concept in The Substance, where, you know, like bad films kind of end up talking about themselves. You know, like the film about the undead vampire, you know, like ends up kind of dead, you know, in like kind of this undead state. And yeah, it's like an interesting thing to think about. Like, do all flawed or bad films end up talking about themselves, end up criticizing themselves? Something I'll keep in mind. And I don't know, there's a lot of things I could continue talking about. But yeah, it's just hard for me to understand why Robert Eggers approached this as he did, like this really dumbed down, I have to explain you everything. I thought like his previous films were a lot more bolder in terms of the intellect of the audience. That's why I like The Witch, you know, like that's what first made me well, praise him, I guess. You know, like this is like a really smart film, and it's not making dumbing things down. And you would have thought that by the level he's working now, like he would have a carte blanche to, you know, like be as bold as he wanted. And with this, it just feels like he went down, 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 and trying just like, yeah, like dumb it down, explain everything. Everything is just like intellectualized. Nothing gets really. Nothing really ends up impacting at a visceral level, and just ends up like this patchwork of ideas, and like shots that never really end up working together well and rising to the full effect. And so yeah, no reason really to watch this over Werner Herzog's film. I did like that he use some of Murnau's Nosferatu kind of impressionistic language. I also like that. Nothing really that noteworthy about the acting, really. I thought Hutter was a really poor character overall. Johnny Depp's daughter, I think, did an okay job. Like she was good, but again, like not as good as it could have been. And Willem Dafoe had some really bad moments where he just like randomly goes into different directions with the character. That was also off-putting. I don't know, just a bad movie for me. And interesting interestingly enough, that same day I watched the late night show with the devil, and it was really interesting comparing the two of them because how they approach different things, and that's a movie that also has some like egregious mistakes, but it still ends up working fantastically. And I was like actually at the edge of my seat when I was watching it, and I was surprised that even after having already watched the movie, like it could engage me like that. And I'll probably talk about that one in another video. I think I pretty much said what I wanted to say about Nosferatu. Really disappointed by by this work. I thought it was gonna be an easy thing for him to accomplish. I was really excited, and none of it worked. Maybe I'll have to do the next Nosferatu myself and like pull it off. So I think that's it. Maybe I'll do another video if I wanna go deeper into some of these things. And well, thank you for watching.